Ya, toi whawhelai ma whaatalo whatu loutou pa ia ma loutou ma malu. Ya, mai le nei foi whao po ponga le tātou po kalamene o Samoa Matters. Langi mama soifua manuia. Welcome once again to another video of this Samoa Matters podcast. This is Lord Waitumua LV Litalu saying talofa lava. I le tātou po kalama po vitiole nei o le awha utu i le upu masani mata atele o le tautua. E tolu ni winga o le upu tautua i lona whaongaina. Ai mai se le ngana o sa uma o le tautua momua o se veape o le auona o to serve tautua lona lua o se nauna e whaasino le i se auonanga o service o services ia ma le tautua lon tolu o se nauna foi e whaasino le tangata o whaatino ina ma whaia le tautua po le auonanga ia po le tangata le server. So the difference in meaning and usage is in the context. O le se senga o le whaongaina o le upu tautua ia o lo o le whaatataunga. E tele tua inga tautua, there are several ways, times, and to whom the tautua is performed or rendered. A person can tautua a nuu or village, a inga or family, ekalesia or church, etc. But the tautua that will be analyzed and examined in this video is the one within the context of the Matai System, specifically in the chiefly succession context and process of inheriting, acquiring, and bequeathing of chiefly titles. Note that this is mainly a discussion of the methods and types of tautua, their meanings and etymologies in general, and not so much the details as to what is involved. O le tautua o le atala noina o le tautua i le matai to the incumbent matai, chief. Ai maise i le taulainga ma whaamoemoenga o le aveai mamatai to become eventually the chief or a chief. Some cultural pundits present and suggest all different types of tautua. Samoa Matters will only discuss these main and common ones on the board, especially the Tautua Aitaumalele, as highlighted in the title of the video. The typical, traditional, honest, genuine, sincere tautua is often described using these words, tautua matavela. Mata means eyes and vela means cooked or burned. This refers to the redness of the eyes or bloodshot eyes resulting from the eyes being exposed to the heat and flames of the cook fire or the cooking fire. Usually that of the above ground oven or the umu method, imu in other Polynesian languages. The resulting bloodshot eyes is often described as wamu mata or wavela mata, hence matavela. Tautua nofotua vai, sitting on the back of one's legs and feet, most people and pundits interpret this as sitting behind or at someone's feet when serving or while serving. It's correct to some extent, but here's Samoa Matters' own interpretation. As mentioned earlier, nofotua vai is literally sitting on the back of the feet and legs. When someone is waiting on a chief while he or she is eating, the person will sit cross-legged in the talatua or inside the house but towards the back. Now, when the chief is done eating, the tautua waiting on him or her will bring the hand-washing bowl and the hand towel, the vaifufano. Now, as you wait for the bowl and the towel, you don't go back and sit cross-legged, or even worse, is to stand there right in front of the chief or the parents waiting. That's rude and disrespectful. You would retreat a little to the talatua, and since this is going to be a short wait, again, you don't sit down again and be comfortable. You can either squat or sit on the back of your legs and feet. Tua vai. Nofo tua vai or nofo itua o vai is actually a gesture of being subservient and servile, but strictly in the context of Samoan culture and also and especially in the tautua tradition and concept. It is also a position that one needs to be trained on and acquired, meaning that you have to learn it. If you watch young girls or women serving the sua ta'isua, bringing this food presentation in most cultural events and occasions, they would usually use two main methods when they bring out the items to the guests. Two main methods of lowering themselves. First, the nofo fase wapa, and that is done by leaning more towards one hip, and as they lower themselves, they eventually sit mostly on the back or hind of their legs and feet. The second one, nofo tuavai, the person would lower themselves with their legs and feet already in a scissor-like formation. Hence, again, end up sitting on the back of their legs and feet. The reason for that method and position and technique is for ease of getting back up again to repeat the task of bringing more gifts and foods, etc. Picture a scissor lift to get the idea, as the lift goes up and down. So both nofo fase wapa and nofo tuavai, again, are for the ease of getting back up. That means you're always prepared and on the ready, so to speak, to continue serving. Now, just as we have two so-called proper, genuine, and sincere tautua, there also are improper and insincere tautua that are antithetical in nature. These are often considered reprehensible by the people. These are the ones that that you avoid. First one, I have both of those in red on the board, is tautua pa'o. Literally means noisy and cacophonous tautua, often done in a reluctant, begrudging, and resentful manner, and always murmuring and complaining. Whaalonga kua kaka o lai ka sasa ma pakia paka mai me kua whale. Ko mumu fori kero o kaimi, to mumu ma whaasea ma whaitio. O le tautua pa'o le nā. Second is the tautua fia matai, literally tautua with the overriding ambition of wanting to be the matai, in fact, at all costs. This tautua is the self-seeking, self-serving, egocentric tautua, driven only by a deep desire to hold the title. Again, using any or all means, is the kind of end justifying the means mentality. And the usual antidotal approach to this tautua fia matai attitude and approach is expressed in this common maxim or adage, ole tautua fia matai na ole māleia e o mai. Literally, the tautua driven only and primarily to be the matai and to hold the title is often doomed and ill-fated. And now our main attraction, Tautua Aitaumalele. The meaning is well known, which basically is the tautua rendered by those living far away from home, abroad or overseas, by members of the diaspora, in other words. That meaning of Aitaumalele is understood and commonly known. But the etymology, or an etymology, not so much, since there is none yet, at least to the best of my knowledge. So the etymology given here in Samoan Matters in the next few minutes is my own, derived solely from my studies of the words, the language, the culture and the environment, and the overall customs and traditions of the Samoans. If there be any out there that are same or similar, I would consider them as coincidences. Again, chances are that you are hearing and listening to this etymology analysis for the very first time and here in Samoan Matters. Let me start by saying, as I have often mentioned in past videos, that Samoans tend to draw their alanga upu, traditional expressions, symbolisms, and metaphors from their natural environment. Aitaumalele is no different. Recently, I mentioned and discussed the role of the birds in the culture and especially the language of the Samoans. A quick rehash, the Samoan word for a bird's nest is ofanga. and the act of gathering of a bird's chicks under her wings for safety and protection is ofa tai. And both words, ofanga and ofa tai, they have this ofa as the common root, which means love or alofa. The other behavior of birds that is mimicked by the Samoans is the method of feeding their little ones, mouth to mouth, or technically called allo feeding. The Samoans use the word mama. This is where the mother would chew the food and then feed that masticated or pre-chewed food to the infant. Those of us who grew up and were raised in Samoa remember that. The famous song by the Penino Tiafau mentions this practice. Tolu masina fafangaloa ile mama. Literally means when a baby, an infant is 3 months old, he or she is fed pre-chewed food. And there are several other ways that birds play a role in the lives, but especially the language of the Samoans, as in Aitaumalele. Here's a hint and clue for this analysis. Lele in Samoa means to fly, like a bird. And bird is manulele, or flying animal, or flying bird, because not all birds fly. There are some birds that do not fly. So lele is key. Aitaumalele is a compound word formed with 4 words, or in linguistics, 4 free morphemes, which are ai, tau, ma, lele. Literally, eat or bite, pluck or pick, tau, ma is and, lele, fly. So eat, pluck, and fly. Well, those 4 words encapsulate the main behavior of birds, whether feeding their chicks or building the nest. They fly far, even great distances from the nest, and they pluck, they eat, digest, and then fly back to the nest and feed their young. The same when they're building the nest. They would bite, pluck leaves, break branches and twigs, and fly, taking those materials and supplies back to the nest. Again, Aitaumalele, eat, pluck, and fly. A very realistic comparison and metaphor for what we do as sojourners, and others as well, other nationalities. We fly far away from home, we pluck, eat, and send help, and at times we literally fly by plane back home to take things to help feed our families and make nest or home improvements. Falil fali. Ya, ole pongai, fa pongai, mal mafuanga le na o tātou pu Aitaumalele. E tu sai masau suenga I longa, ya masa tomai fo ia tau I meta ngana. I may se lava tātou ngana Samoa. Aitaumalele wa fa tu sai ne tātou ia mio manulele tu low. Ai mai se tātou ni o lo hau mau manonofo ia tunu I fafo. Lea e whaongai le upurea o lo tātou Aitaumalele. O lo tātou ngā lulue, wha putu, wha polo. Ia, e mai se lau fo I mō whalavelave. Ia, o lo teimi o tātou a. Ia o tātou lele. Tātou whele leiloa. E pe o manu lele e mo moli o tātou alofa, o mea alofa. Ia, mole a inga. Ia, pole o whanga. Ia, ai tu e ki mai lau televise, lau telefoni se teimi la tamai, e se whaopoponga o le nei lava po kalama. And by the way, don't miss the upcoming videos in which I will be discussing some of the political matters in Samoa, especially at this time, and also with the upcoming election. I just want to let you know that I'm not partisan when it comes to Samoa politics. O te le whai tu au po te whao o se I se vaenga whao whai po se pāti o lau tu o lalo inisio videos la tu inatu. ia o se fautuanga ma se tualalo ini mata upu e whaalelea ai i le tātou whainga malo. So watch for those videos. Mo le taimi nei, leo lo i tumua alvi le talu ma le Samoa Matters. Fa soifo ia.